You've seen them in movies, right? Giant rolling walls of sand swallowing cities whole, like in Mad Max or The Mummy. It looks like pure Hollywood fantasy. But the reality of sandstorms, or as they're more accurately called, dust storms, is just as dramatic and way more fascinating. So what exactly is a sandstorm? It's not just a windy day at the beach. These are meteorological monsters. They start in arid or semi-arid regions when a super strong, turbulent wind, often the leading edge of a thunderstorm's outflow, picks up loose sand and dust from the ground. But here's the crazy part. It's not just a big gust of wind. It's a specific process called saltation. Imagine this. The wind is strong enough to lift small sand particles maybe about 0.5 millimeter in size. But it can't keep them airborne for long, so they hop and bounce along the ground. Each time one of these bouncing grains lands, it smacks into other grains like a tiny, sandy explosion. This impact dislodges even smaller, finer particles, dust and silt, launching them high into the air. This is what creates that towering, terrifying wall of dust you see. The heavy sand stays low, rarely getting more than a few feet off the ground, while the fine dust can be carried thousands of feet up into the atmosphere. And when I say towering, I mean it. A typical sandstorm can form a wall of dust a mile high and be up to 100 miles wide. That's like a wall of dirt the width of Connecticut, and taller than any building on Earth, moving across the landscape at speeds of 25 to 70 miles per hour. Can you even picture that? Visibility can drop to virtually zero in seconds, turning day into an eerie, orange-tinted night. The biggest and most intense sandstorms have a special name, haboobs. It's an Arabic word, and it makes sense because some of the most famous sandstorm hotspots are in the Sahara Desert and across the Middle East. But they happen all over the world. From China's Gobi Desert to the plains of Australia and even right here in the United States, especially in states like Arizona and Texas. Phoenix, Arizona has become pretty famous for its dramatic monsoon season haboobs. So what happens when one of these hits? Well, besides the obvious dangers of zero visibility for drivers and pilots, the sheer force of the wind and sand can be incredibly destructive, stripping paint off cars and eroding rock formations over time. But the real health hazard is the dust itself. These clouds are not just clean sand. They're filled with tiny particulate matter, a nasty cocktail of soil, pollen, fungi, bacteria, and sometimes even pollutants or pesticides. Inhaling this can cause serious respiratory problems, especially for people with asthma. But here's a twist you might not expect. Sandstorms aren't all bad. They play a vital, if surprising, role in our planet's ecosystem. Remember all that dust getting launched into the atmosphere? It can travel for thousands of miles. In fact, dust from the Sahara Desert regularly crosses the entire Atlantic Ocean. What does it do when it gets there? It fertilizes the Amazon rainforest seriously. The Amazon soil is nutrient poor, and this annual delivery of Saharan dust rich in phosphorus and other minerals is like a massive natural fertilizer drop that helps keep the world's largest rainforest alive and thriving. Dust from Asia does the same thing for marine life in the North Pacific Ocean, feeding the phytoplankton that form the base of the entire marine food web. So the next time you see footage of a colossal, intimidating sandstorm rolling across the desert, remember it's not just a destructive force of nature. It's a powerful globe-trotting delivery system, a chaotic but essential part of how our planet breathes, grows, and sustains itself. From a tiny grain of sand bouncing in the wind to fertilizing a rainforest an ocean away, it's a wild and dusty world out there.